It's a debate that is as old as time. When does an artist cross the line from earning a living to selling out? This tension between art and commerce has haunted countless artists, but few embody the debate as vividly as Orson Welles, the cinematic genius who revolutionized Hollywood and then spent decades trying to scrape together the money to keep making movies his way. You might know him as the guy behind Citizen Kane, widely considered to be the greatest movie of all time. Seriously, go watch it if you haven't. But you might also recognize him from vintage television commercials, hawking everything from board games to cheap wine to frozen peas to consumer cameras. His face was all over the tube back in the day, leading many to ask, how does a man go from reinventing cinema to delivering dramatic monologues about frozen dinners and discount electronics?
It was Shakespeare who posed the question,
okay, what's he selling?
In a name? And in modern-day commerce, the answer would
insurance?
be...
It's insurance, right?
Everything. When you buy a Nashua copier, you're also buying the fiercely proud reputation of the company whose copiers outsold all other plain paper copiers worldwide. It took Beethoven 4 years to write that symphony. Some things can't be rushed. Good music and good wine.
In this amazing game, I had to find 3 keys, lay siege to the tower, and defeat the enemy within.
Dark Tower from MB Electronics.
To understand why Orson Welles ended up in so many commercials, we need to understand one crucial fact. Even though he was a beloved public figure, Hollywood didn't like him. Welles' artistic journey began on stage. In 1937, he co-founded the Mercury Theater, an ambitious New York troupe known for its bold, modern adaptations of Shakespeare and classic literature. After a year of success, he brought the show to radio audiences with the Mercury Theater on the air. It was there that Welles delivered his sensational 1938 broadcast, The War of the Worlds, a radio drama that he directed so realistically that it actually caused widespread public panic, catapulting him to national fame. The Hollywood movie industry took notice, and at just 24 years old, Welles landed an unprecedented contract with RKO Pictures that granted him full creative control of his productions, a rarity for any filmmaker those days, let alone a newcomer. His debut film was Citizen Kane, which blended innovative storytelling, cinematography, and sharp social commentary into a film like none other. But while critics praised it, the movie's thinly veiled portrayal of media mogul William Randolph Hearst sparked outrage, with Hearst using his vast media empire to smear Welles and suppress the film, and Hollywood studios, fearful of offending such a powerful figure, turned their backs on the young director. Orson, once hailed as a prodigy among the elites, quickly became a pariah. His follow-up film, The Magnificent Ambersons, was quickly wrestled from his control and brutally re-edited by RKO while he was away in Brazil on a goodwill tour. This final cut gutted Welles' vision, and the experience left him shattered.
They had promised me when I went to South America that they would send a moviola and cutters to me, and that I would finish the cutting of Ambersons there. They never did. They cut it themselves. So they destroyed Ambersons, and the picture itself destroyed me. I didn't get a job as a director for years afterwards.
From that point on, Welles struggled to secure funding from any major studios. His career became a patchwork of passion projects, often financed through unorthodox means, including taking acting roles, working as a stage magician, radio voiceovers, and yes, television commercials.
I've discovered a camera. The Vivitar. It's a pocket camera with a great idea. The electronic flash is built in, see? There's a sharp Vivitar picture for you. If you want sharp pictures, this has got to be your camera. The Vivitar. Truly sparkling from the center of the earth. Perrier.
Now, Welles was no stranger to product advertisements. His first array into commercials came in the radio days. When the Mercury Theater on the Air needed funding in 1938, the show was transformed into the Campbell Playhouse. Now sponsored by the famous soup company, they required Welles to integrate product plugs into his broadcasts. He'd get to continue his one-hour show, but the first, middle, and last minutes of each program was all about chicken soup.
This is Ernest Chappell, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming you back to the Campbell Playhouse. In a moment, we shall resume our presentation of the murder of Roger Ackroyd. Meantime, I'd like to call your attention to this interesting fact. Authorities tell us the young people of today are healthier than the youth of any previous generation. And they say that a big contributing cause is the broader use of the right kind of foods. Take soup, for example. Campbell soup.
It's important to remember Welles didn't do these commercials to get rich. He did them to keep his team employed and the lights to the studio on. Likewise, once the going got tough in the movie business, Orson was forced to fund his films independently. His story ideas were notoriously unconventional, often far ahead of their time. F for Fake, for instance, is a fourth-wall-breaking documentary essay hybrid about art forgery and the nature of truth and deception. It's the kind of film no studio would ever take a chance on, much less Hollywood. So Welles, ever the magician, got the money to make his flicks by wooing obscure foreign investors, or acting as a storyteller and showman for brands that had cash to burn. Critics often mocked Welles for selling out, but if there's one thing Welles didn't care about, it was public opinion. He was a filmmaker determined to control his own work. If that meant lending his booming baritone to a wine commercial, so be it. Often when asked about his commercial work, Welles was unapologetic, saying simply, "I use commercials to pay for my work." His goal in making them was never great wealth or mainstream acceptance. It was actually creative freedom. And if a company's check meant he got to make one more film on his terms, he'd cash it without hesitation. In his later years, Welles became a familiar face in television ads. His most iconic advertisement was for Paul Masson.
Paul Masson will sell no wine before it's time.
And of course, many of his contemporaries saw all of these commercials as a betrayal of his artistic ideals, but Welles saw them as a lifeline. He could do a few commercials and fund his films, or he could appease his critics by remaining broke and making nothing for the sake of art or something. Now make no mistake, Welles' dogged determination to remain independent in his movies at all costs often meant that he would start a film and then be completely unable to finish it once the funding dried up, which of course it often did. All the soup commercials in the world couldn't cover every expense his visions racked up. To this day, there are about 48 different films Orson Welles left incomplete. Despite the ribbing and the ridicule that he often received during his lifetime, today, Welles is celebrated not only for his groundbreaking contributions to cinema, but also for his creative resilience across various corners of show business. Modern filmmakers, especially in the independent scene, view Welles as a trailblazer, someone who, after his initial breakthrough, found little support from the traditional studio system and was thus forced to innovate constantly to keep his artistic vision alive. Far from a sellout, he's now regarded as a pioneer of independent filmmaking. His commercials, once seen as a stain on his legacy, are now understood as a necessary means to an end, a way for an artist to keep creating despite an industry that often worked against him. His legacy continues to inspire generations of filmmakers who face similar battles for creative autonomy. In the endless debate fight over art and commerce, everybody draws their own line somewhere. Some people will advertise anything for a quick buck. Some people may do ads for products they actually legitimately use. Some people say any money you make from such methods is tainted, leaving no room for nuance. But to me, the idea that an artist must suffer in obscurity rather than accept a paycheck ever is, quite frankly, absurd. Art has always required patrons, funding, and yes, even creative compromise from time to time. Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel because the Pope paid him to. Shakespeare wrote plays because the monarchy funded his theater company. Were those guys sellouts? Were they not real artists? Who decided that earning a living from art cheapens it? At the end of the day, I see Welles as a prototype of the independent artist, someone who refused to let financial hardship silence his creativity. Who knows what Orson Welles might have accomplished had he lived during the days of Patreon or Kickstarter. Instead, he played the system he had, secured his funding, and made his art anyway. And he probably wouldn't care what we thought about it. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. They stand ready and able to help you bring your ideas to life with their all-new design intelligence, giving you access to easy-to-use tools so that you can build a site that feels uniquely you, no coding required. Whether you're showcasing your art, stories, or business, your vision will shine. If you want to start your own podcast, Squarespace has got you covered with audio blocks. Plus, you can sell stuff from courses to videos to music or memberships. So here's what you do. You go to squarespace.com to start your free trial. Then when you're ready to launch your site in full, head over to squarespace.com/AustinMcConnell to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain.